So here's a little story here, and it's kind of crazy. I'm just going to jump right into it. You got the devil in the Ozarks. He escaped prison in Arkansas. I'm going to check out the maps here in a second, but let's try to find out all the information that we could possibly find. So this is the picture of the guy right here. His name is Grant Hardin, and Grant Hardin is seen pictured right here. Former police chief, convicted killer. He was escaping the North Central Unit prison wearing a disguise in Calico Rock, Arkansas. So in Calico Rock, Arkansas, he's got himself a little disguise, and he's like wheeling something out, like he's what, some sort of, mover or shaker. He's like the bug man. He's the extermination guy. He's the plumbers. He just come in as a plumber or something. I'm just taking my little cart on the outside. How did he get the hat? How did he get the disguise? And this is like another escape. You had a big escape in New Orleans, a big escape in Columbus. Now you got escape in Arkansas. And the guy is a former police chief convicted of murder. A police chief convicted of murder. So he was a former police chief in Gateway, which they say is near the Arkansas-Missouri border, which I want to say that's where Calico is. This Calico Rock, that's by the Arkansas-Missouri border as well. The Ozarks, that's where Deliverance was filmed, and Winter's Bone was filmed in the Ozarks. The Ozarks is kind of like a mountainous, sort of trees, wooded, forested region. I want to say uninhabited. And so, let's keep on looking at this. Law officers are searched for Arkansas's rugged Ozark mountains for a former police chief convicted killer. Alright, let's keep going. He escaped Sunday from the North Central Unit, a medium security prison, the Calico Rock prison, by impersonating a corrections officer in dress and manner, according to a court document. So that's all you got to do is to walk out of the damn prison. You just kind of put on a prison uniform, right, a prison guard uniform, and then start kind of yelling at people and treating people like crap, and then you just sort of, stroll on out of there. A prison officer opened a secure gate, allowing him to leave the facility. Rand Champion, a spokesperson for the Arkansas Department of Corrections, described the clothes as not a standard inmate or correctional uniform. There's nothing inside the prison that looks like that, so that's one of the challenges we're going through. Champion said the decision to house Hardin in a medium security facility weighed the needs of different facilities and inmates. All right, he's just trying to cover up his liability, right? Just covering his ass, trying to minimize liability. Hardin's escape happened days after 10 men fled New Orleans, right? We just heard about this. Escaped into the rough terrain. Cheryl Tillman, whose brother James Appleton was killed by Hardin in 2017, said she and other relatives were alarmed by Hardin's escape since they were witnesses in his court proceedings. Okay, I don't think he's going to go after you all. Though, that's what the fugitive did. He didn't go after him like trying to, hurt them, but he tried to find the truth, right? He tried to find the one-armed man. The movie, The Fugitive, right, with Harrison Ford. We were there at his trial when all that went down, and he's seen us there. He knows. He knows. Okay, so James Appleton was killed by Hardin in 2017. So what is that case about? So James Appleton killed 2017. Remember, we're going to take a look at the maps here shortly. The search area has expanded as the hours gone on, though Champion didn't discuss the exact details. Where this facility is located, the topography does provide challenges. At the same time, it kind of limits where he's able to get. It's called Calico Rock for a reason, because it's very rocky. Video surveillance shows Hardin escaped at around 2:55 p.m. on Sunday. On Sunday, it's Friday, so this has been 6 days, 6 days. This is why cops and the damn court system, this is why they got to be free with information, transparent. Give us the information when you have the information at 6 p.m. on the dot every damn day, whatever the conduct of your entire day's work. Tell us what you did learn, what you didn't learn. Have you advanced at all, right? Have you added any more information to the investigation? Have you got closer to the culprit or not? Hardin's escape into a rural part of the state isn't necessarily an advantage, according to Craig Kane, a retired inspector with the U.S. Marshals who has handled many cases involving escaped prisoners throughout his nearly 30-year career. At some point in time, he's going to run out of provisions. In more rural areas, most people know one another. In that aspect, it could be detrimental to him. Izzard County Sheriff Charlie Melton and other sheriffs urged residents to lock their homes and vehicles, call 911 if they notice anything suspicious. There is no fucking reason to be warning people like that. You're trying to put everybody on high alert because somebody ran out of prison. If anything, I feel like the guy's going to run the fuck away and run the fuck away as far the fuck away as he could. Maybe he'll just find a cave, a cave that hasn't been inhabited for, 10,000 years and just try to stay in the cave and eat a bunch of berries. Devil in the Ozarks. So they said that they reached out to the officer who investigated Hardin and families affected by Hardin's crimes, which were the focus of a 2023 documentary, Devil in the Ozarks. So they already called him a devil in the Ozarks. He's another devil in the Ozarks. Like, he was a devil in the Ozarks, and then he went to jail, and now he's back in the Ozarks. Okay, that thickens the plot a little bit. Gateway, the town of about 450 people where Hardin briefly was the police chief in 2016. So in 2016, he's a police chief, and then he murdered James Appleton. Now, this James Appleton, a lot of times cops get away with murder. I mean, you just saw that Jalen Sebron, he got shot straight the fuck up by the police. You always hear that donut operator, right? Donut operator's like, oh man, and then the cop showed up and then he shot the guy, and the guy is dead. Please buy my products. Motherfucker gets like 1 million views just laughing about all the people that police shoot and murder. So it's interesting that this police officer, this police chief, didn't get away with, murdering this James Appleton. Usually it takes the thinnest pretense for a police officer to get away with, shooting somebody. The guy didn't have a murder weapon. The guy didn't have a damn gun or a stick. He didn't put a gun down. He didn't plant a gun. That's actually kind of incredible to me. So Gateway is small town, 450 people. Briefly, he was the police chief, so he might know people there. But Gateway in the northeast part of the county is far more rural and remote than Bentonville. Landscape only gets more rugged to the east in the heart of the Ozarks and Buffalo National River toward Izzard County where the escape had happened. Darla Nix, a local cafe owner in nearby Pea Ridge, Arkansas, said her sons grew up around Hardin, knew him as a mostly quiet person. Before he was convicted, he was just one of the kids, a member of the community. Hardin was a very, very smart man, Nick said. She anticipates the search for Hardin will be challenging for law enforcement. He knows where the caves are. He's just a survivor. He knows how to make it. They're going to have their hands full trying to catch him. Tillman said she wasn't surprised when she heard that Hardin had escaped. The news suddenly added fresh pain for her and her family. He's just an evil man, and he's no good for society. He pleaded guilty October 2017. Guilty. Doesn't he know anything about law? Like, he pleaded guilty? How did they get him to plead guilty? Like, that's incredible to me. So, October 2017, first-degree murder for fatally shooting Appleton, 59. So, was that as he was police chief? How did he stop being a police chief? He's just police chief for just a year? And then was he still a cop? I got a lot of questions here. Appleton worked for the Gateway Water Department when he was shot in the head February 23rd, 2017 near Garfield. Police found Appleton's body inside a car. So he shot him in the head when he was inside a car. Population over 400. Just only 400 people, and then one of them got shot. I mean, it's actually kind of incredible that this guy is like getting in trouble for any of it. He could have just said it was justified, put a damn pipe in his hand or something, put a knife in his hand. They killed Christian Glass because he had a little rock hammer, or he had a little knife in his hand. Investigators at the time did not release a motive for the killing, and Hardin was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He is also serving 50 years in prison for the 1997 rape of an elementary school teacher in Rogers, north of Fayetteville. Holy shit! What? 50 years in prison for the 1997 rape of an elementary school teacher in Rogers, north of Fayetteville. Where are we talking about now? Is this still Arkansas? So this guy is just in Arkansas and he's just kind of, walking around, and he became the police chief of this, Gateway place, and he had raped this teacher in 1997. And then he had murdered this James Appleton in 2017. So, it took him 20 more years before he committed another major heinous crime. Said he was held in the Calico Rock prison since 2017. The facility has a capacity of 800 inmates. All right, let's take a look at Google Maps and just see where we're at here. What are we talking about, right? So we're going to look at Gateway. Let's say, was it Gateway, Arkansas? Gateway, Arkansas. There we go. So Gateway, Arkansas is where? It's right there on the, line of the Arkansas and Missouri. And it does look like there's just a whole bunch of hills and a whole bunch of trees all over the place. Look at all these ridges, all these mountain ridges. And then how come nobody's living on top of the mountain ridges? Everybody wants to live in the valley, but the mountain ridges, the highlands, don't you want to get on top of the highlands? If you're in the valley, you'll get flooded out. If you're up in the highlands, you can look down on everybody. So Missouri, Arkansas, let's see here. Missouri, Walmart, Arkansas, Music Pavilion. What am I looking at here? Just Gateway, all right? So we see where Gateway is, right, in the whole scheme, in the big picture of things. We see where Gateway is, right? Oklahoma is right there. This is Arkansas. This is Missouri. So this is, quite a ways away from St. Louis, but it does look like it's about, a 3-hour trip if you had a car. Overland Park is just right there. Topeka, Kansas. So there's actually a couple states right there. But Ozark National Forest, right? He was the devil in the Ozark, and they put him in a jail in the Ozarks? That seems crazy to me. If he's the devil of the Ozarks, then you wouldn't keep him around the Ozarks, Put him up in Montana next time if you're able to get him. Tahlequah. What is Tahlequah? Muskegee? Broken Arrow. So this is Cherokee Nation. So this is, okay, so you have Oklahoma, and you got Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas is up here. Coffeeville, there is that, that's where actually a whole bunch of people in Kansas had defended themselves in Coffeeville. But that's got nothing to do with nothing. What am I saying here? We already looked for Gateway, and then that was where he was the mayor. He was the mayor there for a while. That's where James Appleton is going to get shot. Okay, so they say he's the devil in the Ozarks. After he shot the guy, is he hiding in? There's a whole bunch of information. He shot the guy in 2017, and then he just escaped 2025, right? So that's 8 years later after the guy got shot. He had pleaded guilty. So, yeah, I guess that is a small town. I don't even see hardly anything. Just one house, 2 houses, and there were just like about 20 houses right there. And he was the police chief. This is a city right here. This isn't a city. This is just like freaking 20 houses, maybe 40 houses tops. And then who owns all this land? Everybody, the people living here is kind of living on top of one another. Look at all these big trees. Look at all these big fields. Why do people live like, in sardines when you have all that big space to go through? Oh, man, I'm going to have to end this now. I'll end this now, but let's just get a picture of him, and then, we'll find out some more information about the guy. So, the name is, Hardin? Grant Hardin. So bloodhounds are hunting the fugitive. They got bloodhounds that's chasing him, right? This is when he was younger, and then he's getting older, right? He's getting older. This is like a younger picture, and this is like, he looks like an old man in this picture. In this picture, he definitely looks a lot younger. So he's definitely aging, and then, I don't know, he kind of looks like a standard sort of police officer, jail person with a bald head, just mean. Shut up, sit down, I'm the boss of you, let me put my hands on you, let me give you a rectal search. Anyways.